they went to test is they test 3 calibers. They tested the 9mm subsonic. Brady, you know what subsonic means?
Mm-mm.
It's below the speed of sound. And what's biased about this test, they got the 9mm, they got the 40 cal, and they got the hand-loaded 10mm.
Mm-hmm.
A subsonic 9mm is damn near stupid, Brandon.
Why you say that?
Because a 9mm needs speed to be effective.
Right.
That's but they didn't. But they didn't test for. They chose the slowest 9mm to use in the test.
And why did they do that though?
The reason they used the slow 9mm because they wanted all the velocities to be the same.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So hence a hand-loaded 10mm. So to test a 10mm in this case, they had to hand-load it, Brandon, because the commercial 10mm was too powerful to create an equal playing field.
And when you say too powerful, how?
Okay, let's say a 9mm can push out 300.
Mm-hmm.
A fully loaded 10mm may be pushing out 800 pounds of pressure.
And how does that affect your hand or the target? Like,
it's going through you, Brandon. That's what it's going to do.
But is it going to keep going? But that's what I'm saying. It could have hit bystander. Could it, that's what I'm saying. So is that why they didn't want to do that? Didn't go.
Well, at this time, they wasn't worried about bystanders. they kind of said that in the report that if the FBI shot 100 rounds, only 20 of them went inside the subject and 80 went somewhere else.
All over the place, right. Mm-hmm.
So they wasn't really to that point yet, but they could not use a commercial 10mm because it was too powerful.
Gotcha.
So they hand-loaded the 10mm to match the velocity of the 9mm and the 45. Okay. And you know what's sad about this, Brandon? The people talking about 10mm, they ain't gonna listen to none of this presentation.
But that's the thing too. I was gonna say, like, we can break it down if you wanted to, if people wanted to, but people just want stuff in a 60 seconds or 30-second clip, and then you think you're gonna be able to fit all the information in 60 seconds. That's not what we were trying to do with that video, or that's not what you were trying to do in that video.
I was trying to get from the beginning and go straight to the end, straight to the end.
Right.
Now, are some of the parameters they use to test doing this test. They wanted the penetration at least to be 12 inches, and they wanted the wound size. Now, Brandon, on this side over here, can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
It's 8 different tests. Can you what in test 1? What did they rate?
Bare gluten at 10 feet.
All right. Test 2 was having clothing at 10 feet. What was test 3?
20 gauge steel at 10 feet.
Test 4 was wall board at 10 feet. How about number 5, Brady?
Plywood at 10 feet.
Number 6 was auto glass at 10 feet. Brandon was number 7.
Like clothing at 20 yards.
And the last one was auto glass at 20 yards. So the goal for the FBI was shooting through stuff.
Right.
To hit somebody. Because what happened during that shootout in 1986, a man got hit with a 9mm bullet and he did not go down.
Mm-hmm.
It went through his... Damn.
I can't hear it this time.
Can you hear it?
I can't hear it.
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. What happened in 1986, a man got hit with a 9mm bullet. It went through his arm, went through his ribs, and it stopped just short of his heart. And it did not take it down immediately. So they wanted a bullet they could bust through that arm, bust through that ribs, and hit that heart or hit in them lungs to knock them out. So that was the goal. And the 9mm, this one bullet in that one case did not do it. So they said, we got to change.
So that one scenario sparked this whole thing.
And some people had old school revolvers. And here's another thing what happened. If you read the report, they got in the crash before the shootout happened, and some of the guns got lost. So one officer, when they got in the crash, the guns just flew somewhere. Some people came out there with no guns. So it was a lot of things that Rick rolled. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Imagine you in a car with a gun,
high speed check,
and you get in a crash. That gun go. So,
but it's my thing. If I'm chasing somebody as a police officer, we shooting out the window. Do you think that's safe?
A lot of places don't do that no more.
I'm just saying.
And you see what happened. What happened. They got the car trash, the guns went somewhere. They had to use the backup guns.
Right.
They had to use the backup guns.
I got you.
Now,
go ahead.
From this test, guess who came in first place, Brandon?
My penetration is 10mm.
10mm. And a close second was a 45. And a long third place was a 9mm. So they shot 40 rounds of each caliber. 97.5% of the 10mm went past 12 inches. 92% of the 40 cal went past 12 inches. 64% of the 9mm went past 12 inches. But before you say a word, that 9mm is not the same 9mm today.
Right.
Technology.
Go ahead.
Like the man said in our previous videos, technology's vastly improved, and they slowed that bullet down.
Right.
So a 9mm needs speed to be effective.
Right. That's the whole point, really.
To an extent.
Yeah.
To an extent.
If you slow any of the bullets down, they're not going to be as effective.
To an extent, Brandon. To an extent. Because also in this report, if y'all guys comment, I can put it up, but if y'all don't comment, I won't. If you increase the speed of a 10mm or 45, they are slightly less effective.
Right. But that's just like if you're shooting in the rain or if it's really windy when you're trying to hit a target, like all that stuff is going to affect, not necessarily the penetration, but all of that stuff plays effect. All of it plays effect.
If you shoot it too fast, the hollow point can't expand properly and stopping and may just go through you.
Right. They designed a certain way for a reason.
Yes. All right. This is the guy from the FBI. He said the best performing round within the parameters of the FBI test protocol was a 10mm. In conclusion, was obviously the best performing round within the parameters, 10mm. The director of the FBI approved the recommendation that a new 10mm cartridge is being adopted as a standard caliber for a new FBI pistol, and the new pistol be procured in significant quantities to replace the existing revolvers. Brandon, one of our comments said the 10mm bullet was designed during this process, which is fake. That's wrong.
That's false.
Yes. The 10mm came out in 1983, around 1983. The FBI didn't start doing the testing until 1987.
Yeah.
So they were saying I'm wrong. Provided information that was correct.
Right.